It ain't nothing, it's the Sunday Shampoo. It's the Sunday Shampoo. It's the Sunday Shampoo.
Sunday Shampoo.
Hi.
We're back.
Hey. We're back.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I think we have some new people in the room. I'm Joshua, of course, and we have Liv, who's new. Liv, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. I'm Liv. I am from Waukee. Started here about a year and a half ago-ish. Yeah.
What do you do at the salon?
I do a lot of hair cutting and coloring. I love lived-in colors are my favorite. Yeah, I'm into blondes, brunettes, pretty much anything, honestly. I started doing eyelashes recently.
Nice.
Come see me for them.
Them ghetto lashes.
You know the
floppy
ones.
ones.
You know the ones.
Fly away. Got you for those. And I just started doing extensions. So yeah.
Nice.
Liv, I'm gonna just talk about you for a second. Liv went through our assistantship program, and I'll probably say she was trying to think before I speak.
Doesn't happen often.
Liv was one of the. I think she did really good with this assistantship program, and really took it to heart. And because how I know is now that she's a stylist, she totally has the Valor and Violet stylist attitude. Like, I say her name and she doesn't even come anymore. So. She officially graduated the assistantship program.
She's done with it.
She's official. And we have also not new to the crew, but new to Sunday Shampoo. We have Kaylee. Kaylee, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Kaylee. Yep. Yeah, I think I'm coming up on my 2 years at V&V, so that's cool. Yeah.
Crazy.
Super fun. I feel like I do a pretty even mix of everything, like hair-wise, hair service-wise, cut, color. Yeah, I don't know.
Extensions.
Yeah, extensions.
Fashion colors.
Yeah, I do love fashion colors. All the things.
If you want to know how to do a thorough consultation with the client,
That gal.
And her knee
to
always
Kaylee.
hurts.
and her knees hurt.
She got bad knees.
Dude, I don't know.
Other than that,
She's
she'll be
prone to
fine.
falling. That's all.
And she has Noodle.
And I have Noodle. Schnoodle named Noodle. Love of my life.
Cool. And then Sammy, Jess, Emily, Carrie.
Hello.
You guys have all been here before.
We're
For a long
back.
time. So has everyone been good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to talk about, I was trying to think about something that we could talk about today. And it's something that we actually do a lot that I think kind of goes unnoticed. And maybe a lot of people just don't understand. I feel like I get a lot of weird questions. The subject would be haircuts or hair cutting. Like for instance, one thing the other day someone asked me, I'm trying to grow my hair out. How often should I cut my hair? My reply and what I think is I always ask how long they want to grow their hair and how often do they get their hair cut. I think hairdressers, I know that we want to repeat service. We want a 4-week service. But if someone's trying to grow their hair out, if they're coming in every 4 weeks, and from what I've researched is that hair grows about a 1/4 inch on average every 4 weeks. Some people more, some people less. I think there's a lot of things that go into that, how much it grows. But let's say it grows a 1/4 inch. I feel like if we trim even minimally, you can only, that's a minimum hair. A 1/4 inch is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's coming in every 4 weeks for a haircut for service in the gal or dude's trying to grow their hair out, you're virtually cutting off what they're trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's grown.
So that's why people say my hair never grows. And then you go in and you find out I'm getting my hair cut every 4 weeks. I just think you're kind of chasing your tail.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you should go 1 year. So I don't know what appropriate time is. I guess, so just to start it off, haircuts, I say normally 8 to 12 weeks is totally fine for service. I think it still keeps their hair nice, and I think it'll grow. you'll get
I think
growth
on
out
the
of it.
adverse of that, though, if you're trying to grow it out, because I've seen this on myself. Kaylee just took out my extensions the other day, and it was
Little squiggles.
not pretty. But I think on the adverse of that, if you go too long, then your hair is breaking faster than it's growing. So like you have to nip off those split ends because the split will just keep splitting up the strand and eventually break the whole strand. So no more than 12 to 16 weeks. Like absolutely just to even nip that 1/4 inch off that you were talking about, because then you're chasing your tail on the back end.
Yeah, and it's important to know what the client does to their
Does.
hair in between.
Yes.
Do they lighten?
Fry it off with the flat iron.
Do they color at all? Do they shampoo every day? Do they blow dry it after they shampoo? So all of those things, I think, play into if their hair's gonna grow faster or not. So those are important questions when determining if someone asks if they're growing their hair out, how often to get their hair cut. Those all of those questions need to be answered first.
Just what would you tell a client or hairdresser that another thing that people ask, if I cut my hair, do you think if I cut my hair, will it make it grow faster?
I mean, technically, I feel like technically no, because you're cutting off all of the progress. But
100%.
I mean, it eventually will because you're cutting off all of the broken split ends. But if your hair is like healthy, you don't color it, you don't heat style it, like it's. I mean, I feel like you can go further into that 12 to 16 weeks.
I think a consumer myth there, and I've heard hairstylists say this too. Cutting your hair isn't going to make your hair grow out of your head any faster.
No.
But
It
people
grows
think
from
that.
your scalp.
Like a
Prevents it.
placebo effect almost.
Yeah, people think that. But you're right. What it does is it keeps the split ends. It just keeps it healthy. It keeps it easier to detangle. It keeps it better looking. All the things.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but have you guys ever cut your hair like a clean cut? And then people like you get done, sorry, not cut your hair, cut your client's hair. Clean cut. And then at the end of the appointment, they're like, why does it feel longer?
Mm-hmm.
It's because like you got all that like scraggle off the bottom, and that heavier weight line at the bottom seems like their hair is fuller and healthier and thicker. And now, every 16 weeks you're taking a 1/4 inch, but you're gaining 3/4 of an inch. That's gonna quickly add up. And so I feel like patience is a virtue with growing your hair out too. Like people just have unrealistic
Takes years.
expectations. Unless you're about to drop, for some extensions, you just have to be patient with it. So
Or the opposite, the long-haired client that you fake cut their hair and they're like, it's so short.
It's so short.
And they're
You're
like, I didn't
bro.
even cut anything.
Can't even see the hair on the
girls
floor.
that
Like,
the girls that love
adjusted-
their long hair and it's like 4 little squiggly hairs. They're like, I just really love
And they're
having
all
my
in
hair
your
back.
bag.
Stop this. I'm like, oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Completely translucent.
It makes you just want to like run up behind him at the grocery store and just like,
Hey, but if that's what you want to do, I'm still sleeping at night, whether you have 4 hairs all the way down your butt or like, I don't care.
if I can
We get the
count
same.
your individual strands of hair, you need a haircut.
Here's one for you, another one. Sammy, you can talk about this. What, why, okay, so there's a lot of hairdressers, hair cutters, I don't know what you want to call them. A lot of people do haircuts, and there's a lot of different pricing structures on haircuts. Why do you feel like one haircut is $20 at one place, and I've seen $500 haircuts? What do you think the difference is between a less expensive haircut and a really expensive haircut?
The shears, because how I guess if you go to Gray Clips, they're probably not going to go in and thin it out and like cut the layers and do all the things that you typically would do in the salon. But the shears, I think, is a huge thing.
Tools, I
Yeah.
agree. And so for reference, people that don't know about shears, this was kind of a trend a while back. People would go around the salon with their scissors in their hand and ask consumer client, how much do you think these are? And clients would guess $50,
$100,
$100,
at
$80.
max.
I've heard upwards of $200. What consumer doesn't know is scissors are $1,400,
$2,000.
$2,000. So you're right. There are hairdressers, but there are $100 scissors. And I think yes, when you get into that whole subject matter, it's like any tools that anyone uses, like a carpenter that comes to your home. Compared to like my little Fisher Price hammer I have, it's just it makes a big.
You have a Fisher Price.
I also
hammer
feel
for
like
house.
well, kind of. It's one of those
Like, some places don't
Chinese
shampoo
toolboxes
either.
with
Right.
fiber piece tool.
Yeah,
It's
So
was
that's
a
like a
good
huge
point.
thing
They're
too.
not
Like if you're where the hair's
Like the
starting
service
out,
itself. Yeah.
I
What
also
else?
feel
What would you say? What else, Liv, on that?
I would say like a lot of the time, like the time and attention that they're like taking and focusing on you. Like if you've ever been to like more of those chain hair salons, I feel like yeah, they could do a men's cut in 15 minutes, but how much did you really like go into depth of like in the consultation or like actually what they like, or did you ask them like, is everything looking okay? Is there anything like you want me to change? I feel like a lot of the times they won't really do that. They'll just kind of send you out the door.
because
They're
it's
getting
such
the
a
very
fast
basic car
turnover.
wash. They're not getting the.
You know one thing though about because I'm really fortunate, and I know you guys have worked with me enough. I've executed how to do commercial hair really well. So I do things
Can you
super
explain what
fast.
you mean by
I do things
commercial hair?
What?
What you mean by commercial hair?
So I feel where Valor, I'll just say Valor and Violet, where we fall in category is I consider us commercial hairdressers. We see multiple clients throughout the day. We're not shooting for the masses, but in order to operate our business and make a certain income amount, we have to see X amount of clients in X amount of time, and we have to produce a really good result in a timely manner.
Yep.
Is that right? Does that sound
I
okay?
also think you could
Yep.
roll into that. You said like how like the business side of things, but to me, commercial also we're not doing like runway like mini bangs and like
Correct.
it's very like
Yeah, we're not
pretty
doing
everyday
artistic
hair.
editorial
Kaylee.
work.
Kaylee's sitting over there with mini bangs.
You mean these?
But my point is like we're seeing pretty everyday livable Iowa Midwest hair. We're not doing a lot of like high fashion, editorial type work.
Yeah.
So that also rolls into what you're saying as well.
Yeah, so it's like ready wear in high end fashion. Like Balenciaga, for instance, one of my brands that I like. They have their highlight, but then they have their ready wear line, which is t-shirt. And it's still very expensive, still a really good product, but it's just ready to wear.
Mhm.
That's kind of hair. But it's funny you said time because I do think I'm fortunate. I feel like the people that have been doing hair at Valor, you see how fast we do things. So sometimes when I walk a client up front and charge her $500, but I got her hair done in an hour and a half, I feel comfortable charging that because she's not paying me for my time. She's paying me for my experience. Like of what I've learned over the years. I can get from A to B, still have the completed a good look.
It's still quality.
Still that I feel that is quality and get them out of the door. But I think a lot of people, consumers sometimes feel like I almost feel like some of our clients or people that come to the shop feel like I get just that it was a little quick.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Like you didn't take enough time with them, and that
so why would
then
it cost that much
reflects-
money?
That
Why-
reflects on quality, which
Why-
absolutely
It
does,
does
not.
Yeah. So why
And
does a haircut with us cost $50, $60, $100 at Valor and Violet, and we get it done in 45 minutes, but they can go to, then back to let's say chain salons, they can go back to a chain salon and get a haircut for $40 or $50 nowadays, I think. I haven't
Yeah,
looked at pricing
seriously.
lately. And they also they either do it quicker or sometimes it's with inexperience, it takes way longer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A beauty school haircut,
Oh, 2
hour,
hours.
3.5 hours, right?
Oh yeah.
For $20. So that's always been a weird thing to me, timing and pricing. My how I make myself feel good about it and I'm confident with it is I've just done it for so long. I have the experience to get the job done in a timely manner, so I feel comfortable charging.
Yeah.
I think Sammy said your tools, which is a big part of it, just like the investment that you've put into yourself as a stylist. Liv said like timing and what you're doing for the client in that short amount of time. I think it comes down to education.
I was going to say knowledge too.
I think
Yeah.
like here's the thing is if somebody's charging $35 for a haircut at one of the chain or whatever or wherever it is, I'm as a consumer, I'm going to think that they maybe aren't as qualified as somebody in the middle of New York City that's 65 years old and has been doing Sassoon haircuts for 35 years and charges $400 for the haircut. Of course, they have different education levels. Like that's literally where I think most of pricing structure comes from is the level of expertise that you're putting into it. And that comes with like further investment into yourself. And so like you have to, okay, I'm going to this advanced training. Now I can charge this. Or, now I've done this for 25 years. I'm going to raise my prices because I have 25 years of experience. You can't do that 5 minutes out of beauty school because you don't have the education and expertise. So I think all of that wrapped up is kind of
100%.
where the pricing comes from.
Another thing that made me think of with regards to like prices of haircuts. Have you guys ever been asked why a trim costs the same amount as a regular haircut?
Do the same motion.
So explaining that to a client too, I think clients have this thing about how much you cut off the hair should
Adjust the pricing.
adjust the price, which is absolutely
the
not
same
true.
exact
You go through the
thing.
same exact steps. It doesn't matter if you cut off a quarter of an inch or 2 inches, honestly.
Same cost.
Same cost. But it's hard. It's hard for people sometimes to like, oh, I just wanted a trim.
How much is a trim?
How much is a trim?
You give them a haircut price. They're like, no, I asked for a trim. I'm like, no.
You got a haircut.
They are.
And people have,
Okay.
whenever
They are.
someone says they want a trim, my first question is like, what is a trim to you? Because not everybody has the same
I
trim.
always
Like
say that.
the girls
Also-
who have naturally long hair down to their waist, like they say a trim and they cut off like 3
Yeah,
or 4
like-
inches.
yeah,
And I was
right.
like,
A haircut.
if I got a trim
Like a
on
big
my hair like
chunk.
that,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Sure.
like that trim can't be
But if you
like
cut that off of a bob,
yeah,
Yeah, it's not a universal term.
Then you have a bowl cut.
yeah, exactly.
People's versions of inches are also
yeah.
that's,
Yeah, that's
that's
another
also
thing.
comical because you'll people will be touching their hair and they're like, I don't know, just want to take off an inch, and it'll be like, yeah, I'm like what? Can you show me? And Joshua does it too. We're like, show me like with your fingers what an inch is, and the range
Do you want to
is insane.
Do you want to know one huge thing about that though? Laughing or not about it is that's an experience conversation.
Yeah.
A kid would
Yes.
a kid in beauty school when they say an inch, first off the kid's gonna think they know what an inch is, and she's gonna think that the client knows what an inch is.
You
Until the wrong time you cut off the wrong inch, you finally learn to have the conversation with the client. What is an inch to you?
Yeah.
always
I've seen an inch from this
this.
to this.
oh yeah, this is my
the
favorite.
teeny
People,
tiny-
I don't know
This
about
is
that,
an
like an inch.
Yeah. Well, Carrie, and you've said this a few times, and it's something I appreciate you saying it. That I give a really thorough consultation, and I always accredit that to my time spent teaching, because it's like you never think you have to ask certain questions or that you have to coach someone how to ask certain questions, because a lot of times you just assume that something's common sense.
Never
But
assume.
That's not a thing in beauty school.
But think about like other industries. You take your car in to get an oil change. You might as well be speaking Mandarin to me
Yeah.
if you're going to tell me anything about my car.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the difference? We can't assume that people know anything about hair either.
Yes.
Yep.
That's just because you said the word you brought up education. To me personally, the best form of education is teaching. I think as hairdressers, we can go sit in all these high-end education classes. My what would it be called? My focus, my brain. I can't learn from other. I need to teach it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever get the opportunity, anyone out there listening, or I suggest anyone here, like you've educated, if you ever want to become a really good hairdresser, go teach hair.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
I think it's because like you're showing someone, and so like you're reminding yourself why Like you're doing each
you're hyper
thing.
focused
Yeah.
on each
Mhm.
little
Each
baby
step.
Versus
thing.
just like doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
yeah. You have to explain it in a way that the other person has to pick up each and every micro step, which makes you understand it better.
Right. Because you're like, why did you
after
do that?
Teach, after
this
you
is-
teach,
Instead of just automatically doing it.
yes, after
You're
you
explaining
teach it,
why.
you also in turn will get with various people, you'll get different problems that occur,
Mhm.
which then makes you form a response in understanding that problem better yourself.
Mhm.
And then you kind of, I don't know, work your way up and all those
Mhm.
little things start to come back to you and then you figure out how to respond back. And I think that's a really good
The
point.
coolest thing about being for me, I was an educator for a period of time. The coolest thing about it was I taught other hairdressers, which is, oh man, you talk about having some courage and putting yourself out there. So it does that. But if you're still a hairdresser, also behind a chair in a salon, it makes you even better with consumer.
Mhm.
Like it sets you apart from everyone.
Mhm.
First off, just because of you know how to speak. If you can speak to hairdresser, you can for sure speak to consumer. But also it sets you apart. So yeah, I guess if you ever get the opportunity to educate, looking to make a little extra money, there's so many opportunities out there for people, and that's been huge for me.
In educating your client before they leave. Because
Mhm.
what we do in the salon, if they don't know how to do that themselves at home, what's the point? So making sure that they know why you're using this product, why you're doing these things, so that when they get home, they can successfully recreate what you've done.
I got a good one.
Okay.
Another one.
I'm nervous.
This one, I don't know. We do it at the shop, but I don't know how I feel about it. Why is a kid's haircut different price than an adult haircut? And where's the line?
I wonder that myself. You get these like 12-year-olds or even 8-year-olds who have more hair than I do, and I'm like,
I know, it's
Have you
insane.
seen
would love
Have you
to
seen
charge you
those
more than
social media videos? That's like, she's like, no.
Media?
You did just say Media.
just let it go.
Okay, guys.
So she tried to just scoot past
No.
me.
Media. Social media videos where they're like, it's a full adult sitting in the chair, and she's like, okay, haircut's this price, and she says like $55 or whatever, and then she says a kid's haircut's $30, and she's like, okay, I'll do a kid's haircut. Have you seen those?
Uh-uh.
And then she puts a kid's cape on this grown ass woman, and then the woman's like on her iPad and like moving around.
Oh
the
my
whole time,
God.
like, she's trying to cut her hair, and I'm like, it's so true. Why
It's
do we
so
charge
true.
a different
Less.
price for a kid's
Because it's
haircut?
oftentimes
It's
way more
oftentimes
difficult.
way worse.
Mm-hmm.
And half the time you have to wash their hair anyway because it's all gross.
But for
Right,
some
'cause
reason,
there's
if
food
you
in
were
it.
to tell
Covered in
an adult
chlorine.
that the price is the same as our adult haircuts, they'd probably flip out.
So why don't we for 2025, at least our shop,
Haircuts.
we just have a haircut price.
Normalize kids' cuts being the same
Being
price.
adult.
I
Who's
feel
for
like
it?
I'm
I'm
so
for
for it. I'm so for it.
Oh my god.
The board passed. That will be changed on Monday.
Here, here.
Yeah, get the gavel.
Because it's back to if a trim's the same cost as that, why isn't this the same?
Yeah.
I 1,000% agree.
Yes.
And at like what age is a kid not
Yeah,
a
then
kid
what's
anymore?
that?
Right.
And
Exactly.
do you have an ID for the kid?
Right.
Are you sure they're not only 12?
Yeah.
He looks 16, bro. You know, like that's a big kid.
That's a big.
I don't know.
Okay,
That's
then I
just,
have one
that was my
that's-
thought.
Kind of pushing limits here then.
Right.
Why do we charge different for a men's
I was
haircut
just
than a
thinking
women's
that.
haircut?
Especially when they have long hair too. It's the same.
I would justify that in majority of men's haircuts. You're not blow drying. It's time.
True. You don't have
Yeah.
the
And that's the
styling
thing. Once you
aspect.
get once you get the experience, I can bang out a men's haircut in 15 minutes. Like the style
Yeah.
of men's haircutting that I can do. I'm no barber, by the way, and a lot of people think that because I'm a dude. That's a whole that we'll talk about that too. But I can do men's haircuts in 15 minutes. I can do a women's haircut in 15 minutes, but the finish work and everything else, I'm at 45 minutes. So when we're charging, we at the salon or personally, I feel like we charge by time. That's what it alludes
Yeah,
down
but
to.
then you just said that earlier that we don't.
Sometimes
You
just
said
ha-
that you can get it done
Well,
faster.
no,
for the same
it's
price.
okay. Harley Davidson, prime thing. If I go in and they bid me out $1,000 to change my tires and stuff, but the master mechanic gets it done in 30 minutes, guess how much money I pay?
$1,000.
$1,000. That's what I was saying about the charging. You're paying. If I get it done in 5 minutes, you're still paying me $50. So I feel like a men's haircut. It's not. It's more for my amount of work. I'm not blowing out my body doing the work. I feel like it's just.
So it's more about like the finish work.
It's like
is
the
really-
details.
We're not using as much when we talk about back
I think
bar.
that's fair. Like the
Yeah.
cost thing. We don't use as much product.
So it's
we don't-
not. I guess. So I don't mean it's time or it's just it's less.
Labor
Work.
intensive.
It's less labor intensive.
That
So
makes-
it's
that
bidded
makes
out
sense.
different.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I then would say, and I'm just gonna, before somebody comes on and says like, what about pixie cuts then? Pixie cuts, in my opinion, require the most amount of product.
Well, you blow
I mean,
dry
you
it,
have to
right?
like, there's a lot of precision in blow drying and
Yeah.
piecing and like just
There's
product and
Always going to
knowledge.
be some.
discordance.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
never. Yeah.
The lines will blur between those. But we have to have a standard. We have to go by something.
I
And
also
there's-
just want everybody to know that at Valor and Violet, if somebody comes in that has a like clippered cut that would be similar to a traditional men's cut, we would charge them a men's cut.
Right.
Yes.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I also
Yeah.
go
Okay.
this far just for people, and it's not something I don't know if everyone does it, but if I have a female, a woman's haircut, and let's say she's curly and just wears her hair natural, I charge her for a men's haircut
Mhm.
because I did no blow drying or anything. If she's leaving damp, or just diffused out, I normally just hook them up.
I oftentimes do
Because
that
again,
too.
I didn't do the work. Again, I'm charging on like what I'm doing to my body, how much product, I mean, all of the things.
Yep.
If I'm not blowing out hair for 45 minutes or whatever, I charge it. If a girl comes in off the street with long, straight, clean hair and she literally wants me to dust the ends, I charge her for a men's haircut.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't wash it. I didn't. I mean, literally, I did. It took me 4 minutes.
And if that's a regular client going forward, I will know the front
book
desk
it
can book it
accordingly.
for this amount of time instead of.
So I would say that's why for men's haircuts.
That makes sense. I like that.
So kids haircuts, we got that gone. What's some other haircut myths or we hear a lot or
Not
that people need to know or they should know?
I'm sorry, this is not, I guess it's leaning a little bit away from haircuts, but I feel like in the haircuts I've been doing lately, I feel like I've had to have so many more conversations about heat damage.
Yeah.
Nobody, like these clients, they can't figure out like why they have split ends, why their ends are breaking, like why they need to cut more.
Why
And I'm
their
like,
hair's
well,
yellow.
how often are you using heat on your hair? Well, every day. I'm like, do you use a heat protectant? No. I'm like, okay, well, ding, ding, ding right there. But I feel like I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
a very frequent conversation I've been having lately.
Yeah, they're what they determine to be heat varies.
Mm-hmm.
Blow dryer is
Mhm.
heat, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't understand that that's part. So you need to have something in, even if you're just going to blow dry for heat protectant.
Sometimes I feel like people also tend to, like, if they use heat a lot and you only use like products that have heat protectants on dry or wet hair, and then you blow dry your hair, like that's not enough for your hot tools. Like I feel like you need something a little bit more if you're constantly using heat, protect like over 400 degrees or whatever.
But I feel
Day
like someone
2.
can have super healthy hair and they're like trying to grow it long and they just like can't figure out why they're like, I'm getting it trimmed. I can't figure out why. And then I feel like that sometimes can be the culprit as well.
There's a lot of people that don't understand heat tools.
Mhm.
Like, it blows my mind when I see some blonde clients that come in and their hair is like, they leave with it so ashy and pretty, and then they come back and they look like goddamn Big Bird. And it's like, where are we? Like, the toner, something's not computing here. And I don't know if anybody knows this. I've said it a couple times to the people in the salon, but 391 degrees is when you are burning off hair color or shifting your biological hair color. So if your hot tool is above 391 degrees, this kind of base,
Look what happened to her hair.
What?
That heat did that.
Yeah.
Changed it.
That shit was on
I think
fire.
people like just crank up their thing to the hottest thing just to get it done quick, but they don't realize what it's doing to their hair.
Or they think it's going to hold better.
Yeah, like the
I've
curls
heard
are gonna hold
this
better.
too. Like
yeah.
if my curling iron's
Be
at
patient.
the very highest level, it's gonna hold better.
Jess, what do you think about the importance of Sammy brought up that, then brought up scissors. What do you think of the importance of product and hot tools in with finishing for haircuts?
You have to. It's a non-negotiable. If you want your hair to look exactly like how we did it in the salon, then you need to get those products at home because it doesn't make sense to think like we put these like 4 products in your hair. Maybe you don't need all 4, but like we will normally show you like at least the 2, like a heat protectant and the other one for before you blow dry your hair. Like if you want it to look like this and it's so good and you can never get these kind of curls at home, like this is probably why. It's because you're not using the same products.
Drives me nuts. In that, people, what they say, my hair's never going to look like this at home.
They can.
Dude.
Yeah. Well,
Are you
I'm
trying?
leaving you with a roadmap.
I'll tell you why it doesn't. And that's where a lot of hairdressers get, they feel like we push retail so much. I don't want to go into even retail. That'd be a whole nother subject. We're not pushing for hairdressers and you guys especially. We're not telling you guys to sell. We're saying it to make money.
It's not for us. It's
Yes,
for
we
you.
are. I will never deny that because people will bash me on this. But most importantly, we're selling it because it works, and it's all of the things. It's the same food that you're putting. It's like anything that anyone that wants to take care of themselves. And we're a nice enough salon where we sell really nice retail. Just like the people that probably come to our salons really care about how they take care of themselves, what they eat. It's the exact same thing. And that's the only way your hair's ever going to look like that. You're 100% right.
You should touch on the blow drying, like why you need to blow dry your hair.
Blow dry, okay.
'Cause I like the way he tells clients this. It's good.
So, which part?
The part
If your hair's not
Like,
curly and you're not going to wear your natural texture, and
when people, especially the
Go to bed wet.
conversation, yes, the conversation about not blow drying, making them greasy, because I've heard you talk about it before,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
really good.
Okay, so I always ask people, like, they're obviously in consultation, their style regimen, because I want to see what is going to work for this haircut, if it's going to be good for them, whatnot. But virtually, long story short, 90% of people say they always let their hair air dry. The biggest pet peeve that people do to me, they say they wash their hair at night and go to bed. First off, gross.
Gross.
Because you're getting your pillow wet and the moisture clear. It's like
Mold.
damp, so meaning that thing's probably moldy somehow
towel
or
on the
stinky. First off, your hair never officially really dry. It's all the things in the world. But secondly, they wash their hair every day because it gets oily.
I wonder why.
Okay, do you blow dry your hair? No. Okay, so here's what I've figured out. And I may have learned this from someone, I don't even know because I've been doing this for so long. If you blow dry your hair completely, and a lot of people say things blow drying is bad for hair. If you use the right products, using a good blow dryer and blow drying it right, it's amazing for hair. The reason why we have hair on our head is to, what's the word? To keep us protected
Protect.
from heat. It's made to take heat.
Mm-hmm.
The appropriate amount of heat with the right product. So if you blow dry your hair completely, especially at night, your scalp and skin, you supposedly produce more oil at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to bed with wet hair and your scalp's producing oil, it'd be like taking a wet towel and then pouring oil on it. In the morning, the oil is just going to sit on there. And if you let that towel dry all the way completely, however long it took, it's still going to be oily. If you take that a dry towel or dry fabric and pour oil on it, the towel is going to absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with hair. Hair's fabric. It's fiber. Like, if it's completely dry, it's going to absorb. That's what it's made to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to blow dry your hair if you want it to look good. And what we figured out, especially hairstylists, you guys are great at it. We can go days now.
Train it.
Weeks.
Like a dog.
Yeah, and your pH is going to balance out because you're not whacking it out all the time with water
Yeah.
and products and all the things. So I always say, I know it takes a little bit longer, but if you would commit one day on a Sunday, do this hair regimen, blow dry your hair in sections, not messy, and get it perfect, I guarantee with a little bit of dry the right things, you can go 4 days now.
Mm-hmm.
Your hair's going to get healthy. You're going to need less haircuts. Your hair's going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
And it's going to look good.
So obviously at the salon we have to do it from sopping wet hair, but like at home, do you think they have to do it from
yes,
sopping wet?
9,000%.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can leave
I-
a towel on for a
I
little
air
bit to
my
get some of
air
that.
dry mine just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I
Just
do
so it's
too.
not like dripping.
Yeah, and maybe not sopping, but yeah, and even when I like it the sun, I'll wring it out and
Well, yeah.
get the moisture out. But it's all based on hair type too, and you got to
Yeah.
be the one to tell your client that.
I think also too, the more that you kind of touched on this, but like the more that your body's supposed to have a certain amount of oils up here, like at the scalp that is releasing down through the hair strand. The more that you're washing those off and cleansing those off, the faster your body's trying to reproduce them to the natural level.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just get oilier faster. Like when people are like, I have to wash my hair every day because it's so oily. It's like, duh, you're doing it to yourself.
I love to have that conversation. That's something that really clicked for me when I went through the aesthetics program, because I'm also an esthetician.
That's where it's all based off skin.
It's
your
yeah,
scalp's the same
yeah.
thing.
It's like if your scalp gets oily, so you wash it, you're getting rid of those oils. So your scalp's going to try to reproduce them just as fast because, like you said, you need those natural oils. It's the same thing with your face. So, yeah.
Okay, then one last thing. Then I think we've talked a lot of good things about haircuts. One last thing. What about someone that wants a haircut that you know isn't going to work for them?
Ooh.
That happens a lot.
I am always so transparent with people. Like, I'm never gonna, at the end of the day, like, they're paying for it. It's their hair. I will ultimately do what they want to do if they are so set on something, but I'm always the first to be super transparent about what I think is going to work, what's not. And if a lot of times clients will be like, do you know, they're asking you personally, like, do you think this will look good on me? It's not even a matter of fact of whether or not technically it will. Like, don't be like
But
crazy
the
rude
crazy
about
Which
it.
is
stuff,
but-
subjective.
expectations,
Yeah.
the crazy stuff, like, dude, a woman will be like 60 and be like, not even the hair type, whatever, and like make me look 40. And she's dead ass serious. And you're like, bro. And you do, and you end up doing it, and it looks like shit.
Sometimes
And
they
it's
love it
never
though.
gonna look that way again. Like, I really struggle in our situation because we're commercial hairdressers and someone's paying us for a service. That literally is my biggest pet peeve. And I know, and that's what I end up doing after you tell them, like, dude, no, and they still want to do it.
It's like, okay.
Here you
You
go.
guys seen the rule where you put your thumb over the face of the picture and flip it upside down, and if you still like it, then you can.
No, but I love
Have you seen that? Like if somebody shows you a picture of like a freaking supermodel,
Yeah.
and they're
Sabrina Carpenter.
yeah.
If I see one more picture of Sabrina Carpenter, that's great.
If you put your thumb over the picture and flip the whole picture upside down, if you still like the hair color, cut, whatever, we'll do it.
I love
But
that.
I think you're looking at the 26-year-old supermodel in the picture, and that's why you like it.
Or it's AI.
Or they just have that.
Or it's AI.
Or it's
Oh,
AI.
yeah.
They
I'm like,
just-
yeah, that's not real.
It's actually not.
Yeah. Cool. Sammy, what are you doing for Super Bowl?
Well, I'm gonna go over to Jess's house and I'm gonna make some walking tacos.
Yum.
Jess, who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Chiefs.
Oh God,
Oh, God.
Wait,
What if they don't win?
3P.
I'm gonna be happy.
Wow.
Uh,
Can someone
So
remind me
actually,
who's
it's
playing?
I have a
Can't
thing
come over
today. I
anywhere.
told Emily I called this, and it may be a bet on one of the sites. I feel like the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce's going to propose to Taylor Swift,
But
and
the
then he's
Super-
going to announce his retirement.
Oh, he's
I'm
still
saying
retired.
it here.
I feel like he's going to retire whether they win or
I'm
not.
saying nope. I'm telling you how it's all going to go. This is
They're
all going to
obviously
happen.
gonna win because they're a bunch of cheaters.
Are we excited to
cheaters.
see Kendrick Lamar for halftime?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool.
Let's go.
Dude, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We'll see you
Happy
next
to be
time.
back.
Sunday Shampoo.
We're back.
Yeah, we're on the move, excuse me, thought you knew the crew was back. We made it through, so make some room, please. Haters sue me, cause the cool drinks and the blue dreams got me too relaxed. My new thing's never moody, she's in Louis with the new keys in her Gucci bag. It's nothing new, she got a bougie swag, and every time we passing through, they all snap and shoot like we're a movie cast. Should we do the math? Cause we all snooze in class. What can you do? I guess it's true, we really grew up fast. Hate or love, it's like there's nothing that I can't do. We doing numbers, so we do the money dance too. It ain't nothing, it's the Sunday Shampoo. It's the Sunday Shampoo. It's the Sunday Shampoo.